English translation 278th contact. Monday, 20th of December, 1999, 13:58 hours.
Unfortunately, I was not able to receive Quetzal's answers last night because everything was delayed until noon today. He was, as he explained, too busy.
It does not matter, because there is no hurry now. Some hours more it would have had surely still time. But now that you are here, I am still happy to be able to enjoy your presence on my own.
It is also my pleasure and honor. Apparently, you have a good sense of well-being.
Yes, that is the case. Since I started a course of antibiotics against Helicobacter pylori, things have improved quite rapidly. The beast has kept me in suspense for more than 22 years now, and plagued me through and through. Pain, cramps and breakdowns, etc. Unfortunately, the correct diagnosis was only made when I told the doctor to test me for the lousy Helicobacter bacterium, or rather my blood. Anyway, after the cure, I am now at peace and have no particular problems, apart from the phantom pains that sometimes get out of hand. But let us leave that alone. All that needed to be said about it has been said. So please let me hear what Quetzal has to say.
Of course! Your first question related to when and up to what point the actual meeting time of the core group members is to be measured, during which our recording and impulse sending devices for the core group members and their activities are in operation. On the first weekend of the month, the time is measured from Friday 20 hours until Sunday evening after the last meditation. On the third weekend, the time is measured from Saturday 18 hours to 23 hours. These times must be observed under all circumstances, except in the case of weather conditions which make it dangerous to drive on the roads, thus allowing those members of the group who have long journeys to and from the meeting to be released from the meeting earlier. This should really be limited to emergencies and precarious situations. This should be decided by the leadership of the community and not by the board or anyone else, as you have asked. That, at least, is Quetzal's desire.
It can be so arranged. I just thought that the president could decide.
This is not desired by Quetzal, for which he has his reasons.
Then so be it.
Your question regarding the availability of meditation times and the Sohar Center on the first and third weekends for long-distance travelers and members residing outside the so-called singing circle, close proximity to SSSC, explains to Quetzal that the times must be observed as follows. On the first weekend of the month, the time begins on Saturday at 8 hours and ends on Sunday after the last meditation. On the third weekend, the same ratio applies, so the time from Saturday, 8 hours to Sunday after the last meditation. By the way, both Quetzal and Ptah let it be known that the system of meditation time usage decided by the group members is not enough, because with this inadequate system, the meditation pyramid is only enough for about 21 humans. But if the time for the meditations were used in the right form, 49 members could meditate in the pyramid without any problems, without having to do this duty elsewhere, like at home. Due to the querulousness, as Quetzal and Ptah unanimously express, the meditation pyramid is not used in the form it should be. As both explain, there is an unforgivable cross-pollination among various newer group members, which is expressed not only in the fact that meditation is not done at appropriate times in the pyramid, but at home, if that happens at all, which is often not the case, as had to be stated again and again, but also in the fact that the cultivation of community togetherness and cooperation has become extremely deficient and neglected for years, using all sorts of flimsy excuses in order to absent themselves from the center and being together in cooperation, etc. Certain members of the group, including those from the beginning, but from the community. So this does not only concern the newer members, as unfortunately Ptah and recently Quetzal in particular have stated. It is really time for the misguided ones to recollect their duties and to stop hiding behind flimsy excuses, according to Quetzal. And as he says, the querulous ones do themselves no good, but in many respects harm themselves tremendously by doing so. But Ptah has been explaining all this to you for years and asks you where the whole thing will lead one day when you step out of life and your guidance is missing.
I know. Ta and I talk about it over and over again and ask ourselves what we could do to make everything settle down again and everything will be as it was before. However, we have not yet found a solution, but have always come to the conclusion that those who cross themselves must come to their senses and do their duty. I have talked about this with group members on various occasions. But then you only get the answer that we would no longer live in yesterday, but in today, and that the new age would bring something new and displace the old. And that the younger members had different ideas and lifestyles, attitudes, etc.
I know. I have heard such irrational and childish speeches on several occasions during the last 3 weeks. When I tried to listen to such conversations when you talk to group members. And it is very unfortunate that individual board members speak in the manner you just mentioned. While it is true that new times bring new things and attitudes, etc., this has nothing to do with all the things we have mentioned. Because what we are talking about here refers to the fulfillment of duties and fulfillment of the mission, but not to new views and attitudes as they appear through the querulous group members. All those who slowly but surely bring the community to the brink of disruption and destruction with their anti-group and anti-mission behavior should think about this thoroughly and consciously once in a while. And like Ptah and Quetzal, I and the High Council are also of the opinion and conviction that if not everything returns to the old way, the fulfillment of the mission will one day come to nothing. But there is not too much time for real conversion, because you have only a limited lifespan during which you can hold everything together. So it is up to the various troublemakers to change themselves and their behavior to such an extent that the old and proven norm is restored. It is extremely regrettable to have to say all this again. After some time, everything had started off admirably well, and many small writings and books had been produced, lectures held, and information stands carried out. But this is not enough, because a really functioning community and mission fulfillment requires much more. Also in the kind and wise that the individual group member functions conscientiously and in the best possible manner within themselves. In their consciousness, in their attitude and in their psyche, in their character and in their virtues. Lies and evasions and refusals and separateness and deviation from duties, etc., are neither appropriate nor community and mission conducive.
Well, I cannot say more about that either. You are so right. Sometimes it really makes you cry. But we should now continue with Quetzal's answers to my questions.
I must also give my personal opinion one sometime. Very well. You asked if the initiation times affect the meditation times. No, that is not the case. Meditations can also be carried out if any group member carries out their initiation. Initiation and meditation are self-contained processes that are recorded separately. Only compulsory meditations, that is to say the 2 monthly center meditations, are such that only one group member at a time is allowed to use a certain fixed meditation time. If you wish, Quetzal explains that the pyramid can be used by several group members during one time. Directly or indirectly, then you have to create an additional crystal storage block and enlarge the center pyramid and the hall pyramid together with all table and travel pyramids by 100%. All existing pyramids would be useless.
And what about making some more changes in the crystal storage block?
That is impossible. There were only 2 possible changes, one for meditation and one for initiation. According to Quetzal, these 2 possibilities are exhausted for the time being. With regard to meditation, Quetzal had to make a change for Christian Florena earlier because he lives within the fixed circle for the 1st and 3rd weekends. The second exception was for Bridget, for whom Quetzal had to come specifically recently.
So no further exceptions are possible for the time being.
No, I already said that.
Can I ask you something about viruses and bacteria, etc.? How you protect yourself against them when you are on other planets? Can you tell me about it?
I can do that very well. On the one hand, we are protected by our clothes, which are so well made and equipped with sensors that they register all kinds of pathogens, known or unknown to us, etc., and destroy them with special radiation that is harmless to ourselves. This applies both to bacteria and viruses of all kinds that you have mentioned, as well as to other pathogens, which, however, may still be unknown to earthly physicians. Our clothing, which we wear outside of our home planet, is equipped with an appropriate filter system, which eliminates all parasites, etc., all germs and all viruses and bacteria of every form. In addition, each of our flying apparatuses has a large, equally active filter and radiation device in the entry area, which is in continuous operation so that no germs can be introduced. These systems are absolutely safe.
But then there is something I do not understand. Simya-se once told me that she always has the problem of getting the sniffles here on the Earth.
That was indeed the case, but this fact only referred to when she or others of our groups wrapped themselves in earthly garments and thus lost the protection explained to you. As you know, Simya-se and several others temporarily moved among Earthlings at very short notice when there were special things to do. At that time, this could only be very short because heavy equipment had to be carried to protect the consciousness and the mind. However, if one of us was affected or infected by the common cold or any other illness, this was regulated and remedied by re-entering the flying apparatus and wearing the usual clothes again.
What was it like, or is it like with me? I have suffered from various diseases caused by bacteria or viruses.
That may be true, but as you yourself know, your diseases have never been so dangerous for Simya-se or any of us. Besides, as far as I know, you have already been informed about this by Simya-se. Special safety measures have been taken with regard to you and our in-function so that you can be with us and enter our flying machines without hindrance. Further, you also know that in relation to your earthly body, only this can be considered for disinfection, but not your inner organs, etc. This possibility exists only for us, which is why only we can keep ourselves free from any germs, etc. Our devices and apparatuses are only tuned to our bodies and organs, etc.
How do you feel about transporting foreign planetary inhabitants in your flying machines?
Special filter and radiation devices are required for this, which are tuned to the life forms concerned and which are then subjected to a holistic disinfection.
Then I never posed a danger to you with my Helicobacter?
No, not at any time. By the way, I would like to say that if you had been diagnosed by Quetzal or Ptah, you could have been freed from this evil many years ago. But as Simya-se, so Quetzal and Ptah explained to me, you have always refused to be examined by declaring that you did not want better chances than any other human being on the earth. This also applies to your left arm.
Yes, that is right. I am an Earth human being, at least with my body and my present background, etc. And I think it is very appropriate for me to fit into this life here, with all the ups and downs, and with all the chances or non-chances.
Your opinion has been explained to me, and honestly, I have to pay my respects to you. It honors you not to take advantage of the fact that you are in contact with us. Even when it comes to your well-being, your way of life, etc., I think that many human beings of the earth envy you for your contacts with us. And I can also imagine that many would like to profit from it in some form if they were in your place.
That may be so.
Sure would be. But now, my friend, I have to pay the necessary attention to my work again, which is why I have to leave you now. Goodbye, Salome.
Aha, Salome, and goodbye. And thank you very much for your efforts.